think some of us are old enough to remember the sitcom Ozzie and Harriet. Yeah? Yeah. I wonder if you remember the time when they decided to host a come as you are party. They called everyone they wanted to invite to the party and asked, "What are you wearing right now?" One person said, "I was in the garden and I'm wearing jeans and a t-shirt and sneakers." Another person said, "I'm covered with flour, I'm cooking and I'm a big mess." And one person had just jumped out of the shower to answer the phone. The host then told each person about the party they were having and when it would be. And everyone was told to wear exactly what they had on right then when they came to the party. So when the party time came and the people arrived with various outfits they'd been wearing when they were called and invited to the party, the man who had been in the shower came wrapped in his shower curtain. Our lesson this morning begins with Jesus telling a parable about a father who was planning a wedding feast for his son. Now the father was a king, so there were some really big plans that were being made for this party. When Jesus spoke about this wedding, he used the customs that they were all familiar with. And Jewish weddings back then were lavish affairs. They could last for a long time, a week and even more, and they'd invite a whole lot of people to come. There would be big plans for food and drink and entertainment, and they even had to make arrangements for people coming from out of town. Actually, the wedding date wasn't usually announced immediately. The initial announcement was only to notify the guests that something was about to happen, that the wedding was going to happen, and an approximate time it would happen. But they had to get their arrangements together. So I think that the initial announcement was just an announcement, and then the final announcement would come a bit later. In that parable, Jesus explained that the king had already sent out general invitations to the guests. So now he was ready for the party to begin. Everything was ready. So he sent out his servants to tell the people, those who were invited, to come. The party was ready. Come on, we're ready. But the guests didn't seem interested. They had other things to do. They would not come. So the king sent more slaves to the guests, and explaining that the dinner was prepared, everything was ready, come. But they made excuses and walked away. Some went to their farms, others to their businesses. Some mistreated the servants and even killed them. Jesus was telling this parable while he was in Jerusalem in his last week of life. And he was speaking to Jews, many Jews in leadership. And he knew these same people were the ones who would be calling for his life very soon. The slaves that the king had sent were like the prophets that God had sent. And back then, the prophets were often abused or killed by the Israelites. But since the banquet was ready and the original guests didn't want to come, the king sent out more servants to the city to find whomever they could who would receive an invitation to come to the party. It was ready. Come. Then the king went to the party to see how it was going. And he saw lots of people there filling the big room, enjoying themselves. And as he looked across the room, he saw a man who stuck out. He was not wearing a wedding robe. So the king went to the man and he asked, "Friend, how did you get in here without a wedding robe?" The man was speechless. Then the king told his servants to bind the man hand and foot and throw him into outer darkness where there was weeping and gnashing of teeth. That's quite a parable. I think we've got enough material here for a mini-series. The critical part of the parable was when the king arrived at the party, at the banquet hall, and he found the man who was not properly attired. He was still wearing the rags that he'd been wearing when he accepted the invitation. And the king wanted to know why the man was not wearing a wedding robe. But the man could not defend himself. There was no defense. He had come to the party because he had an invitation, but he could not explain why he didn't have the required robe. I used to wonder, when I first several times I heard this parable, why the man, this poor man, was expected to have such a special outfit for the party. Why did the king expect him to have such an exorbitant expenditure? But you know what? That was very faulty thinking on my part. I was reading that scripture literally only, without thinking that there might be another meaning, a metaphorical or we call it figurative message. When we study Bible, we should always keep that in mind. When we're reading the Bible, figure out what the text is saying and what it literally means, but also look for a deeper text, a figurative meaning. It might have a main meaning, the scripture. In this case, the rags the man was wearing are really a metaphor for the life that the man had been living before he received his invitation to the party. Before he got his invitation, he was just like every other person. He was standing in the need of God's grace. He was in need of salvation. The rags he was wearing was a way of describing his sinful life before Jesus came to give him new life. The parable speaks to us today in an important way. We are all in the same boat. We all are ones who have received the invitation. Great banquet. Remember, the king sent the servants back to the city to call as many people as would respond to the banquet and enjoy the feast. The invitation was our call to accept Jesus as our Savior, to come to his heavenly banquet. It's a free invitation. Jesus suffered and died for all. His sacrifice provided the invitation to gather us to him. He calls us to be new people in Christ, to put on new clothes of belief in Christ, to journey with him. It's a great moment when we hear that invitation. I think many of us can remember back when we first trusted Jesus as our Lord. That was when we accepted our invitation. I hope many of us can remember when it was when we first came to faith. It might have been when we were young, maybe in high school or young 20s, when we said, "Yes, Jesus, I take you as my Lord. I will follow you." There may be some people here who have grown up in the church but don't have a particular day, a time of the day of the week, that they can say that's the moment that they began trusting Jesus. It's quite possible. I think I was in that group. I grew up in the Methodist church. I didn't miss church, or choir, or MYF, or Sunday school. I was very active in church. I had lots of positions in church. But I hadn't actually said, "Yes, Jesus, you are my Savior. You are my Lord." I was in my late 20s when I read a book that challenged me to give my life to the Lord, my whole life, everything about my life, my family, my children, my dreams, everything. That challenge to give my life to Jesus, trusting him to help me through the days of my life. I was going to trust Jesus for whatever happened to me. I knew when I read those words that it was something I should do. It was something that Jesus expected me to do. I happened to be on my knees when I was thinking about this. I just finished reading the book at lunchtime, and I went into the laundry room to snap some diapers. Now, you all don't remember this, but we used to have cloth diapers, and we'd have to wash them and dry them. And I had 2 babies in diapers, so I had a lot of diapers. And I'd snap them to flatten them out, and then you'd fold them up. So I was on my knees doing that already. And I kept remembering the last words in the book, because the author of the book finished his book by saying, "What are you waiting for?" Ooh, that just haunted me. I couldn't let go. What was I waiting for? Was I waiting for the kids to get out of their diapers or to go to school? I didn't have an answer to that question, but I knew that I needed to. I knew that I needed to answer that question. So right there, on my knees in the laundry room on the Thursday after Easter in 1975, I gave my life to the Lord. And immediately, I had this incredible feeling. It was just like, whew. It was fun. It was exciting. I was kind of giddy. I started dancing around the house and then into the backyard and singing. You can see that. But you know what? The next day, and for the next 3 weeks approximately, I had all kinds of thoughts that came in my mind, things that I needed to get rid of. Grudges and angers and, oh, poor me stuff and that kind of thing. And I realized, oh my goodness, those are things that I need to let go of. Ask the Lord's forgiveness and just let them go. You could call those things that I was remembering the rags I had been wearing. So if you have grown up in the church, I want you to be sure to hear Jesus calling your name and offering you this invitation to journey with him to the heavenly banquet. What are you waiting for? We Protestants have always held that we are saved by faith alone. That's sola fide in Latin. We are saved by our faith in Jesus. When we let down our barriers to faith and gladly accept that wonderful gift of heaven. And Jesus is offering it. That's when we are saved. The moment of salvation is the moment we are justified as the children of God. It is the moment we trust Jesus for our eternity. That's the day we accepted our invitation. When we finally recognize that there's nothing that we can personally do to achieve salvation. In fact, it's already been done for us in what Jesus did for us. We have been delivered then from the power of sin and guilt. That's the moment we receive that invitation to the kingdom, and we are saved. We belong to Jesus to let our old life go and begin anew. That's a wonderful moment, but notice there's a moment, one moment that happened, and all this stuff that happened, being justified. Jesus' parable is telling us that we need a wedding garment when we get to the feast, when we arrive at the party. We can't just show up at the banquet door wearing our old rags. Of course, the clothes, the rags we are wearing is really the metaphor for the condition of our heart. That's the real wedding robe, that our heart has been changed by Christ. Hopefully, we can look back at the time when we stood in our rags and our unsaved self and think maybe we've made some progress. If we had died on that day when we trusted Jesus, we would have survived. We would have had a wedding robe. It would have been complete for us. But we didn't die. We are here. We began our journey with Jesus, trusting Him, learning of Him, and growing more and more close to Him. I changed the hymn that was listed, our second hymn this morning. It's a good hymn that we changed from, but I had asked for Just As I Am, and somehow I didn't get put in the bulletin, so that's a wonderful hymn. It's a wonderful hymn for revivals. It sort of tells what it's like to be coming to the foot of the cross, to coming to the altar, to give our life to Jesus. We do come in our rags. At the moment that we laid our burdens at Jesus' feet, we were given this invitation to come to Him and follow Him. But that was just a moment. There's a whole life to be led beyond that. There's a garment that we're supposed to be making for the party. John Wesley, who was the founder of the Methodist Church, gave 3 general rules to the people who are called Methodists. They're very simple to read, to learn. In fact, we can learn them right now. The first one is do no harm. Number 2, do good. Number 3, stay in love with God. Actually, Wesley expanded on his second rule, and you can read it on the front of your bulletin. You have your bulletin nearby you? And the picture in the front. My daughter did a copy of that, so I just took a picture of what she did for me. But this is his second rule. Do all the good you can by all the means you can, in all the ways you can, in all the places you can, at all the times you can, for all the people you can, as long as ever you can. I don't think we're going to be able to finish the back of the big project. Several years ago, my son Stephen was my youth director for the church where I was serving. And for their back-to-school retreat, Stephen gave each of his students a large black t-shirt with the words, "Yes, I am a Christian, ... Could you tell? Being a Christian is not a secret. Our lives, our actions, our words, our habits, our use of money, even the shows we watch should be a dead giveaway that we follow Christ. Knowing if someone has the garment of Christian living should be easy to see. Hey, the king saw it from across the crowded room. The man wasn't wearing the wedding robe. The parable is really important for us to hear because it tells us we can't be comfortable or lazy or smug about our faith. There's always more to do, more to grow, more to learn, more to give. We came to Christ just as we were, with all the baggage and the pain and the troubles we were carrying. And we received Christ's invitation to follow Him and begin a new life. Many of us have received that invitation, and we've even turned in our RSVPs. But the question still remains, have we our wedding robe fitted and ready to wear? Remember, heaven is not a come-as-you-are party. Will you pray with me? Heavenly Father, if there are any here in this community who have not received your invitation to follow you, let this be the day that they are challenged to do just that. Lord Jesus, you know the hearts of each of us here today. You know our needs, our questions, our fears. Speak to our hearts today about drawing closer to you. Help each of us to take a step of faith. Witness to our spirit that we are your children. Amen.